Hey, thanks everybody for joining us on our March webinar here over at IT Solutions. My name is Brian Crouch, the CTO over here at IT Solutions, and with me is Elena Maddox, who is our marketing manager, and she's actually also our moderator for these webinars that we put on. And so what we wanted to talk to you guys about today is the Sophos UTM, and what UTM stands for is Unified Threat Management. This day and age in the IT world, the UTM, Unified Threat Management, is being thrown out a whole lot more. It was just a good concept just a few years ago, but it's starting to gain traction, and a lot of people are using these devices, and there are a whole bunch of features and benefits that we're going to go over. We're also going to go through a little demo of the product, and also we're going to talk about what exactly is UTM from a technical standpoint. We're going to talk about what is a next generation firewall. You know, we've all been dealing with certain firewalls over the last 5, 10, 15 years, and there's been some things that have really revolutionized what a true network firewall can be and how you can really save some money and increase some ROI on network devices that you purchase and put into your network based on some of these great things that these UTM systems can actually do. And so, first of all, let's go ahead and talk about what is UTM. I'm sure you hear it all over the place. Some people may not even know what that stood for until we talked about it today. But it is Unified Threat Management. And what the Sophos UTM is it's a security appliance, simply, that just integrates a suite of security technologies to provide consistent security policies and protection across the organization. And that's it. Just some key features there. Network protection, including advanced threat protection. We'll get into that. Email protection that stops spam and viruses. Web protection to prevent things like web threats and, to get rid of that unwanted browsing. Places that you don't want your employees to go look. Whether you want to capture that data and log it, or whether you just want to flat out block certain things from certain sites if you want to stop streaming. It is that time of the year where March Madness is on and everybody loves basketball, but also you can't have 60 out of 65 of your employees watching it at their desk all at the same time. And so, there are ways to actually stop that, and these UTM devices are wonderful with this. There's also wireless protection. You can centrally manage and you can secure all your wireless access points. So if you've got a bunch of wireless access points out on your network, you can consolidate them all using the Sophos UTM, and you can actually provide wireless policies that are separate from your network policies. There's also endpoint protection, and that is to secure desktops, servers, and laptops with antivirus device and web control. That's basically any device that could touch your network. You could put some endpoint protection on it. Helps you with any type of threat that somebody may have. If they take their computer home and they get a bunch of viruses and then bring it in, it's going to really, really cut down on that and kind of stop that before it even starts. So that's basically what UTM is. Think about back in the day where we had all these different technologies. You had the antivirus, and you had the anti-spyware and the anti-spam, and then the wireless management, all on 5, 6, 7 different devices. Well, now it's all brought together in just one piece here, which is just a huge advantage. So I'll go ahead and bring up the actual interface here. What you can do is, after this is actually installed, and that's a topic for a different day, but if you were to need assistance in retrieving one of these, getting it installed, looking at it more, you can obviously get in touch with us at the very end of this webinar. But if I just log in here, go ahead and bring up this interface, and then we can talk about more. This is what a next generation firewall looks like. Anybody that's used to some of the other products out there as far as firewalls go, this doesn't look too different from some of them as far as the pictures of the interfaces and the traffic that's going in and out of them, its state, whether it's up, whether it's down, the name of the interfaces, and all of the different things here, assuming that you're actually licensed for each one of these as well. This is just the main dashboard of this. And so before we dive into this web interface here a little bit, I would like to talk about what is a next generation firewall. So whenever people are asking you, what is that? Basically, simply put, it goes beyond a traditional firewall. It provides deep packet inspection really, really quick at a really high speed. This type of packet inspection wasn't available 10 years ago, at least not at these speeds. And it can identify and it can block exploits, malware, viruses, or anything else that you decide is a high-level threat, based on firewall rules that you may be able to put in here. As you can see right here, we do have the firewall active. It has no rules, though, nothing that's actually actively being applied at the moment. A couple of the key features I think. You really have a lot of visibility on your applications. You have the control and the ability. You can prioritize, you can block, you can limit applications, and you can optimize performance. You can look and see what the real time wasters are, the real time killers on your network out there, and you can drill down whether you need to mess with the web server or the wireless or the endpoint or the email. Once you drill down as to what that actually is, you have one interface to come in here and basically just put the brakes on every single bit of it. And so, like I was saying earlier, we're not going to get too in depth on this demo because that is a talk for another day, and I don't want to bore everybody for an hour, just for about 10 or 15 minutes here. But we will go down and talk about basically all of these things and what they are, just really quick. And what you're going to see is that you'll see things here that 5, 10 years ago you'd have to have a bunch of different devices to actually take care of those. And now it's all built into one. And so that is definitely one handy thing about the Sophos UTM. And so what are some of the benefits and features in the Sophos UTM? I know I kind of talked about it at a high level. We're going to drill down just a little bit more, and then I'm going to go in depth here as to what each one of these are. Won't take very long. Just wanted to give you guys basically a brief overview and just to show you how amazing this product really is, and basically to hopefully so we can talk more about this and to see how you can really save some money by consolidating all of these things that that are on your network, and things that you can do to make it better and save a bunch of money. So what is something that is unique to Sophos UTM? Basically, red down here, which we will go over, that's remote Ethernet devices, and you can protect branch offices and provide secure remote access, basically. This can get really, really technical and deep if you get down to a deep level of it, but that's basically as far as we'll go on the RED. You can get in touch with us to learn more. We'd be glad to speak with you and kind of speak about that just a little bit more. There's definitely better protection. This next generation firewall, basically, it optimizes bandwidth for those business critical apps. So, this time of month, just like we were talking about people watching basketball, and you got people in the outside world that are trying to get to your internal website, and it's extremely slow because you're out of bandwidth. You can really curb that and put a halt to that and really gain some controls. Much more simple security. I've been in IT for 16, 17 years, and one of the hot spots has always been security, and it's always been really hard to track down, to find these problems on the network, see who's doing them, see what's happening. But this makes it really simple from a security standpoint to come in here. As far as the Wi-Fi options go, you can securely enable all of those bring your own device and those guest device access. So if somebody brings a Verizon Wi-Fi into the network or something like that, you can do certain things to either allow that or to basically shut it down as well. Very good reporting capabilities in this, which is very handy for IT teams. You can look and see who problem users may be, where the bandwidth is coming from, where some of those quote-unquote problem children may be lingering. So those are the things that I really wanted to go over from a high-level view as far as the UTM goes. But let's go ahead and go down here and just look at all of these features that are available in one device here with the proper subscriptions. Obviously, this is a firewall, and I was saying earlier we got no active rules here right now. The intrusion prevention is active with 0 of 0 patterns. So basically, you can set up your own rules for intrusion prevention. You can set up some thresholds to whenever those people. Oh, I timed out. Log them back in. But the intrusion prevention is really handy as well, because it's basically stopping the bad guys from getting in, putting some of those denial of service attacks on your network, etc. The web filtering on this one is inactive, but the web filtering is what we were talking about earlier, to where you can either block people from going to certain places or monitor and log for future reporting as to where people are going. So you can better improve your bandwidth and cut down on some of those things that really can kill a workday. The network visibility is actually inactive on this one, so we won't get into that too much. You can even set up SMTP proxy and POP3 proxy, which basically means if you are sending or receiving email through this device, it has to go through here and has to come through here if you have that active, and you can set your own settings on that. So we've got email security in there as well. And if you're following, you're seeing that this really covers your entire network as far as security goes. Wireless protection is active. We don't have any access points connected to this one. If you really want to see this in action, you can get with us and we can show you. The endpoint protection is inactive. We actually don't have that going. This is also a VPN device, a site-to-site VPN. Most of you probably know that basically means if you have two offices, you can set those two offices up to talk to each other as if they are one. You also have remote access VPN. That is to where if I'm sitting at home or I'm at a Starbucks or something like that and I want to connect to the network, I would use remote access to do that. The web application firewall, that is a topic for another webinar as well. It gets really in depth, but that is also inactive. The high availability slash cluster is also inactive. Basically what that means is you could have two of these UTM devices and they could be hooked up together to where if one dies, the other one takes over. We actually don't have that. Goes out of the scope as to what we're talking about today. There's a Sophos UTM manager that's not configured. That's also another topic, but we actually don't have it configured for this case. We do have antivirus activated for our SMTP and our POP3, so that's basically checking every incoming and outgoing email. The same with the anti-spam. It's also a spam filter. Anti-spyware is not active. That happens to be another deal with the licensing here, and just for today's webinar, we actually don't even have that active. And so that was just one of the reports that I just clicked on there. And so hopefully you guys got a lot out of this. I know that we didn't have a lot of time here. We like to keep these at 10 or 15 minutes so, one, we don't put people to sleep, and then also, we can really get in touch with those people that want to know more. And, we can talk to them and kind of show some demos, maybe get together and have some discussions. Maybe you see this and you're concerned about network security. Maybe you haven't thought about wireless security or those people that are bringing their own devices in from outside. But it's something to definitely think about, because just about anything in the world these days, technology-wise, gets on the internet. And if it gets on the internet, it can get all sorts of bad, nasty things, as I'm sure that we've all found out. And so I want to thank you for your time today. And thank you, Elena, for helping out. Miss Elena Maddox, our marketing manager, also our moderator. If you guys have any questions, you can see down there that our website is www.itsnd.com. You can also email sales@itsnd.com. Thanks everybody for joining us. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next month.